Hello, this is how to install the Linux operating system KDE Neon User Edition. We're using the recent release 2025-11-20. I have started download the ISO file. So I got here KDE Neon. This is the official webpage neon.kde.org. Use the green download now button, and then from the various versions, make sure to choose the version that's suitable for end users, which is the user edition. The other editions are for developers and for testers. So this is for actual end users. I have downloaded the ISO file. Let's start installing in a QEMU virtual machine using virtual machine manager virt-manager. File, new virtual machine, ISO, forward, browse, refresh, Neon user ISO, choose volume. Let's type in here a modern Linux operating system. 10 gigabytes of random access memory, 8 vCPUs, 200 gigabytes NVMe, KDE Neon, customize. The template for the virtual machine for Arch Linux is okay, is modern, uses the modern technologies, the newest possible motherboard, uses virt-IO for hard disk storage and for network interface card. The only thing that you can change in here to make it even more modern is to switch from BIOS to UEFI, which let's actually do. Let's actually start having all virtual machines use UEFI, not BIOS, because 90% of the computers, real hardware computers where people actually install Linux operating systems, are UEFI machines, do not have BIOS any longer. It's creating the virtual hard disk. It's trying to boot in secure boot mode and it succeeds. I'm not sure how it does it, but it did. So it wants us to boot into the first option here. We're booting in live CD mode from the ISO file. We're going to be presented with a KDE Plasma desktop in live CD mode. And then from here we can start the actual installer for the operating system. Right now we did not touch the virtual hard disk yet, either by clicking here or starting the application probably from the start menu. So let's start it from the desktop. I have clicked and then I pressed enter. American English, next. New York, next. Erase disk, EFI, GPT partition table. It's creating a swap partition. I prefer a swap file, but that's the way it is. Swap to file. Okay. This is the option that I want because I don't exactly know the size of the swap. Maybe I will change the size of the swap, and repartitioning is really hard. But then the fact that it offers the option of creating a partition for swap that's large enough such that you can hibernate the system. So I have 10 gigabytes of random access memory, and the swap partition is a bit larger than 10 gigabytes. So enough for the system to save all of the random access memory state to swap. That's a great feature to have. So let's go swap to file this time. The computer name is going to be KDE Neon, the same as the virtual machine. And password. This looks like an issue. These probably are icons, not just blurry things. Install. This is also an issue. Welcome Center should not start now. It didn't ask me if I really want to destroy my virtual hard disk and format it and put GPT partition table, etc. So there should be a final page in the installer wizard where it says, hey, this is the point of no return. If you're going to click next, we're going to format your hard disk and maybe lose all of your data. There should be a dedicated page for that with the summary of whatever you have selected in the first installer wizard pages. The slideshow is missing, which demonstrates features of the operating system, so that's an issue. We can see the verbose log. Let's see what is it doing. It already copied all of the files from the ISO towards the hard disk, the virtual disk. So this is the Calamares installer application. In my experience, operating systems that use Calamares install really fast. And also Ubuntu, the operating systems in the Ubuntu family actually usually are installed fast because they just take whatever is on the ISO and copy it to the hard disk without installing 1000 binary packages from the internet. Because they're newer, because reasons. So first of all installers should take whatever is on the ISO and put on the hard disk because you want the installation to be as fast as possible. And then yes, as a final step, once the computer is rebooted, you should start a automated update. So you want to make sure that the user has the very newest binary files, binary packages after you finish installing the operating system. But this should be a two-step. First, install whatever is on this ISO, make it really fast, and then make sure that an automated auto update is started. Maybe allow the user to not proceed with the auto update, but then the auto update should happen if the user doesn't complain. Okay, it's removing some deb packages that make sense to be installed on the ISO, but not on the virtual hard disk. Restart now. After the computer restarts, we will make sure that the ISO is no longer in the CD-ROM drive. So right now the computer has shut down completely and it's starting. There should be nothing in the SATA CD-ROM 1, and there's nothing here. This makes sure that the virtual machine will boot from the virtual hard disk, not from the ISO again. Okay, this is the desktop manager, SDDM. This is the recommended desktop manager from the KDE community. It's themed correctly. And there's both the KDE Plasma X11 session and the Wayland session. I'm not sure that the KDE community wants to have the KDE Plasma X11 session available by default in KDE Neon. I would guess it's an issue. But I actually like it. I want X11 because I want to install the remote desktop protocol server xrdp. I'm logging into KDE Plasma just to install the SSH server, and then hopefully I will be able to not use the graphical console spice virt-manager to view the graphical session inside the virtual machine. So let's go straight there. Let's see if the user can become super user, the user root. Yes, it can. Let's install all of the updates. Opt update and opt upgrade and opt auto remove. I'm not sure what this pre-installed pool is. We certainly want archive.neon.k.org/user. And we want the Ubuntu 2404 deb repositories. Okay, it suggests that we reboot. It says that on KDE Neon you should not use opt upgrade. Opt update is okay. Opt full upgrade. Okay, do that. The other alternative is opt dist upgrade. Okay, see how the ISO is really fresh from 5 days ago. And we get newer versions of the Linux kernel and cups and Python. I am not sure why the download speed is so low, in the tens of kilobytes per second from http://security.ubuntu.com/ubuntu. Next up, let's install OpenSSH server. The name of the package is the same, OpenSSH-server. Wow, it tries to use IPv6. I should never use IPv6 anywhere on any of my machines. It was marked as automatic. I'm not sure what's the difference, but IPv6 should just be disabled on all operating systems as fundamental as possible, as low level as possible. Okay, so the SSH server has finished installing. We'll restart the computer because we've installed a new Linux kernel, and that created a new boot entry and a new initial RAM disk. Okay, and from now on, hopefully we will not need this virtualization software any longer for the graphical user interface session. Let's connect via SSH. SSH, username, IPv4 address. Yes. Become super user. This is my wiki page and mariusp.github.io. I want to connect to the virtual machine in graphical user interface mode using the remote desktop protocol, RDP protocol. I want to use the RDP server xrdp as long as it still works, because in the world of Wayland, xrdp does not yet work. Plus, on some operating systems and Linux operating system families such as Arch Linux, xrdp is not available in the official package repositories. It's available in the AUR. So hopefully something magic happens and xrdp starts supporting Wayland. Or maybe the RDP server starts working correctly. Because I really rely on either xrdp or on Tiger VNC. Okay, so for the Ubuntu Linux operating system family, it just says that you need to have the KDE Plasma X11 session, which we do. We already logged in into it. It works correctly. And then we should install the two packages, xrdp and xorg xrdp. The download speeds continue to be extremely bad. 100 kilobytes per second, 17 kilobytes per second. So pinging archive.ubuntu.com times out a lot. So 6 lost sequences. The first one is 7, then another lost sequence, the 8th. The 11th also lost. 2 more lost sequences between 12 and 15. So really bad performance here. Okay, so the two packages have finished installing. We should restart the computer one more time. And now let's see if we can connect via the remote desktop protocol. The command line is going to be like this. So I'm using the freerdp client in the version 3, not 2, and in the X11 client version, not Wayland client, not SDL client. So xFreeRDP, the name of the executable, /u means user, domain is the current domain, so dot, Windows style /, we need to escape it, username administrator, width and height for 1080p resolution. This is the IPv4 address of the RDP server. And then the best speed /network :LAN. The best features possible, video RFX GFX. We say that the sound from the virtual machines should be played on the host computer. And this is a very important setting. We want, if we resize the freerdp client window, it should also resize the KDE Plasma inside the KDE Neon virtual machine. Ctrl-Shift-V. We didn't specify the correct IPv4 address, so ends with 251. 192, 168, 122, 251. Asks for the password of the user administrator. Logs into KDE Plasma. Tries to restore the previous session where we had a console open inside. And this is the RDP client. Unfortunately, something happened. xFreeRDP is just not as good as xFreeRDP version 2. So I don't really know how to fix this issue where it doesn't resize the KDE Plasma desktop inside the virtual machine correctly. Let's make the resolution a bit smaller. Because otherwise we cannot see the main KDE Plasma panel. And let's see now if we resize the window, if it's going to resize the KDE Plasma correctly. So it did, but this is a workaround. Okay, so we didn't specify the full 1080p resolution, but something smaller such that we can restore. We can enlarge the height of the xFreeRDP window. Because otherwise we cannot see the KDE Plasma main panel. So it starts like this. It's not 1080p, but we can see everything, including the main KDE Plasma panel. And from here on, we will be able to do our resizes. So we can make the FreeRDP window take a quarter of the screen, and then KDE Plasma will be resized correctly inside the KDE Neon virtual machine. This is the resolution, 958 by 510. And this was a crash. I hardly can wait for the xFreeRDP issues to be fixed such that xFreeRDP version 3 is at least as good as the version 2. Currently, I'm on Kubuntu 25.10 and the FreeRDP version 2 the package is not available any longer. So I only have the option of FreeRDP 3. So previously there existed a FreeRDP -x11 package and a FreeRDP 3 -x11 package, and now I only have the option FreeRDP 3 -x11. So no FreeRDP version 2 for me. With the regressions that it crashes more often and sometimes it doesn't resize correctly. I cannot see the KDE Plasma main panel. And also a very, very bad issue where if I resize the window like this, it starts resizing the window very, very, very slowly and in a loop. Goes back to the not resized size and back to the size that I want, etc. Like right now. You can see at this point, the xFreeRDP version 3 window keeps moving left and right, the right side of the window. And then it also crashed. But other than resizing, that doesn't work. The features that I want work correctly. I want to be able to set the resolution of KDE Plasma inside the virtual machine to anything that I want. I just resize the freerdp client window. I want everything to be as fast as possible, as snappy as possible. It should, the connection via RDP to a virtual machine should be as fast as KDE Plasma installed on a hardware computer. And it is for me. It's extremely snappy and fast. Okay. And then copy paste of text should work. So let's see if we can copy from the host towards the guest. It does work. And it also works from the virtual machine towards the host computer. So resizing, snappiness, speed, and copy paste of text. From here on, I just do the things that I do, which is I do all of my terraforms, all of my changes. So inside KDE Plasma, system settings, I do the following settings always to all of my computers. Edge, there should be no screen edges action. Trigger quarter tiling outer 15. 25 is too aggressive. Fonts, as many Microsoft technologies as possible. Subpixel rendering RGB, correct. Hinting, full. Apply. Mouse, cursors, make them bigger. But for this, because I'm inside the X11 session, I need to log out and log in to KDE Plasma. Okay, what else? The KDE Plasma main panel should not be floating. How do we do that? Floating, disabled, exit edit mode. Make sure I have the Firefox web browser on the first position in KDE Plasma panel. Let's see what's in the KDE Plasma start menu. At favorites, I want system settings, Dolphin Discover. I also want Kate. Add to favorites. I want console, the applications that I use almost all of the time. There's always a console open, always a Kate open. Okay, so that means I do not need in the KDE Plasma main panel pinned the settings, the App Store. This is a bug, the fact that there are windows that appear in KDE Plasma panel and don't have their own icon, so that you get to see the generic X11 application icon or the Wayland application icon. And this application probably has an icon. So I'm not sure what was happening there. Okay, I configure Firefox. I install Crusader as a file manager instead of Dolphin. And that should be it. The next logical step at this point is to shut down the computer. If it works, sometimes it doesn't work if you try to shut it down from by using KDE Plasma buttons when you're inside a RDP connection. And the workaround is to reboot from the command line, so sudo reboot, or shut down in this case. Okay, I have shut down the virtual machine because we're at an important step. we're at a milestone. We managed to install the KDE Neon operating system. We have the latest updates installed. We have enabled the RDP server xrdp, which means that we can connect to the virtual machine in graphical user interface mode using the RDP protocol. We've also installed the OpenSSH server, so we can connect in text user interface mode using the SSH protocol. So let's create a snapshot with the exact same name, always, after install, and make it internal. And this should be it. KDE Neon seems to work okay. Make sure to install the correct version of KDE Neon, which is KDE Neon user, not the other varieties. It's Ubuntu 24.04 plus, built by the KDE community, the latest version of Qt, the latest version of KDE frameworks libraries, the latest versions of KDE Plasma and other KDE software. Thank you.